Is this thing on? Hi! Thank you for joining me on another episode of Flower Tangent by Deborah. So glad you're joining me today. This is going to be a really elegant arrangement, as you can see beside me, the flowers that I have so far. I'll show you them in a second. It's going to go pretty quickly because there's not a lot of flowers and it's a smallish jar and just super simple and elegant and pretty. I'm starting with this jar, this vase that I got from Home Goods. Literally a jar that had a lid that I don't need, so I'm not going to use it. And I filled it halfway with water and I put a packet of floral food in it that I got with the bunches of flowers that I got. Here's the flowers I got for today. Actually, from my yard, I have beautiful, huge white calla lilies. And so I've cut some and they're just so gorgeous and big. I'm going to use them in my arrangement. So you guys can totally do that too. You have cool flowers in your yard. It's okay to cut them off. They looked beautiful for a little while in the yard, and now cut them and they can look beautiful on your dining table. And not only did I cut some calla lilies from my yard, I also cut some of the leaves because the leaves are super awesome as well and they'll go perfectly in my arrangement. That was my husband's idea. He's learning. I'm rubbing off. And then when I was at Whole Foods the other day, I found these beautiful hydrangeas that are like this antique color. They're hard to come by, so when I see them, I usually buy them. And when you're buying flowers, when you're buying hydrangeas, just touch them gently, and if they feel firm, then buy them. If they feel like they're wet tissue paper, then they're really old and they're only gonna last like a day or so. So that's a good way to see if the hydrangeas are good enough to buy and last you a long time. So I just kind of touch them lightly, not like wah, 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 wah. I don't do that. That's not good. Touch them lightly, and these are pretty firm, and so they'll last a good amount of time. Anyways, I think they're so beautiful. They're kind of antique looking, and I think they'll go perfectly with the calla lilies. So here we go. I am going to start with my hydrangeas because they're the biggest flowers, which is kind of typically what I do. I start with the biggest heads because they take up the most space, and then that gives you an idea of filling in with the others or accenting with the other flowers that you may have. So I'm going to take off the greens. You don't want any green leaves in the water, but I'll keep the ones near the head on because they look pretty good and I don't need to take them off. So this is not going to be a super large arrangement, but I'm going to measure it up against my container like I always do. I can always cut it shorter, right? You can always cut it shorter, so don't cut your stem too short. I have 3 of these green hydrangeas, the more green ones, so I'm going to triangle them in the vase. Gigantor calla lily out for a minute. See if I can balance this out a little bit better. That one might be a little too giant. Actually, I think the calla lily leaves are too big for this arrangement. Okay, take 2. I had to cut my stems of my hydrangeas so that fills it in a bit more instead of having too many gaps. Now I'll add a few calla lilies, maybe not all of them. There. And then they'll just kind of stick up. I'll probably add 3. Then it'll be like a triangle and it looks balanced when you have an odd number. Okay, so look what it looks like with just calla lilies and hydrangeas. I think it's kind of funky. That would be really pretty outdoors, kind of rustic and outdoorsy looking to me, but very elegant because hydrangeas are so elegant and classy. And that's where my arrangement ends today, people. Try this at home. Hope you enjoyed this episode. See you next time. Mwah!